Uh, so I decided to make a stop here at Franco Gala Plaza in downtown Oakland on my way out of Oakland after seeing V for Vendetta at Grand Lake Theater, which was an awesome experience. I've seen the movie before, and it was it's very kind of hard to describe how awesome it was to see that movie and the ideas that are behind that movie and how they mirror the Occupy movement. And then to be in a theater like Grand Lake Theater. I mean, I've been wanting to see a movie at Grand Lake Theater since I was in high school, and I had never made the opportunity happen. So it was honestly very awesome to have this be the reason that I finally made it out to Grand Lake and seen a movie. But to be in that theater to see that movie was just really an awesome experience. And the whole time I was reflecting on the community as it's grown, how it's brought people together. I'm not going to get real deep into my thoughts right now, but knowing the kind of person that I've been for quite a while, I'm not really the kind of person to get out of my shell and just engage with people unless I have a really good reason to. So this is kind of a documentary of my own for myself. I've been having some conflicting thoughts and a lot of time to reflect on how I feel about Occupy movement and my involvement and what it's been for me in the past couple months. And I decided to come out here to Franco Gala Plaza. I've visited and engaged in quite a few different occupations, but Occupy Oakland was the first for me. And so I haven't actually been here to Franco Gala Plaza in quite a while. I mean, I was out of the area completely for a little over 2 weeks, and since I've returned to town, a lot of the focus has been in San Francisco with the recent raids. So any time I've spent with Occupy, it's been in San Francisco, except for the ports, of course. So some thoughts that I had on Franco Gala Plaza. I remember probably in my first couple weeks of engaging with Occupy Oakland, it started out as observation, and it still mostly is that. I like observing the processes of GA, the way that people come together and make their community. The way that GAs are held, if you've not attended a GA, it's very unique and it's very interesting, the process, and it's been a learning experience more than anything for me. So I'm losing my train of thought of what I wanted to say. I've got a lot of thoughts in my head and trying to document some of them here. Anyways, in my first early visits out here to Franco Gala Plaza, just being involved with observing what was going on here with the people, and so we have PD going by with shining a light into the plaza. We do have people that are still here at Franco Gala Plaza that have the vigil going, and I don't know if I'm causing a disturbance by being here or whatever, but I'm just here. I'm not doing anything, but apparently a police vehicle just went by and shined a light into the plaza and got some people pretty excited over here. So anyways, back to seeing if I can get my train of thought back together. So yeah, starting out, coming out, and just basically observing what was going on, taking it all in, trying to find out where I fit in, where my thought process was on the entire movement, and at what level did I want to take part in it, if I wanted to at all. It was pretty overwhelming at first, I think is the right word. Seeing this mass amount of people coming together, and sometimes talking about things that I didn't even understand. There's a lot of things that were going on that I didn't even have a full understanding of. I never made it a point for a long time to fully understand things that were going on in the world, which was unusual for me. And I think what got me thinking about this tonight was a line in the V for Vendetta movie, where I forget the character's name, but I think it's Gordy, the gentleman that Evie went to for refuge, when he was talking about his lifestyle being homosexual, and what he said about when you live under a mask for so long, you forget the person that's under the mask. And without getting too in depth in my personal life, for me, for a while, that's very true. I was living for quite a while as a person that it wasn't me, but I mean, I thought it was me until some recent events made me realize that it wasn't really me. I had changed so many ways about myself, about the person that I am, about the way that I see the world, the way that I see my life, my goals, my passions, just everything. I just realized one day it was not what I wanted it to be. And in this past year, I've been trying to figure out what I want it to be, and I'm still not quite sure, but I do know that a lot of things that I've experienced in the past year, including Occupy, have definitely started leading me into a direction that I feel more comfortable in. Getting out of my shell, talking and engaging with people that I don't even know, may never see again. It's just been a really, really awesome experience. And, the way that I feel is that if Occupy were to die today and no changes come out of the movement and the progress that's been made in this past 2 months, if it all just stopped today, I would feel like Occupy has done something for me. And that has basically given me the hope that there are good people in the world, that I don't have to be afraid to talk to people, I don't have to be afraid of judgment, because none of it matters. Because at the end of the day, I'm still me. If I talk to somebody and after walking away, if they made a judgment about me and made a snicker about me or a joke or a comment, it doesn't matter if they did. I don't need to worry about that. What I need to worry about is the fact that I reached out to somebody. I said, hey, good morning. I said, hi, how are you? Even the smallest bit of conversation, even the smallest bit of interaction. We're people, we're a society, we are meant to engage with each other. Our species isn't meant to be behind computers and inside closed doors 24/7 of our lives. We are meant to interact. And if that's the only thing that Occupy inspires people to do, that in itself is enough change for this world just in itself. And that's something that I realized today, sitting in a theater full of Occupy supporters, knowing that we may not all be on the same page in our lives and in our beliefs, but when it comes to Occupy, we all agree. We all, at some point or another, we all have had a motivating seed planted in us to believe in something, and maybe on different levels. Maybe some people believe 150%, maybe some people only believe 10%. Even if it's only a 1% belief, it's enough to have brought us all to the same theater, all of us to dip into our pockets and pay $10, knowing that it's going to a movement, to an organization, not even really an organization, but to an idea that we can come together and we can accomplish things. We can shut down the ports, we can shut down the West Coast. What else can we do? And whether you agree with the port shutdown or not, the idea that really needs to be believed in, the hope that really needs to be found, is that when a group of people believe in something enough, anything can be accomplished. And that is a very motivating thought on a big scale of a large group, as well as an individual scale of a single person, that if you believe in an idea strongly enough, you can make it a reality. And if you can't make it a reality initially, maybe you can make it a reality over time. But I think the thing that I found the most is that it just takes a little hope, it just takes a little faith in yourself, in your community, and the people that surround you, and the people that you surround yourself with. And I don't even really know if I'm making a point at all. I'm kind of just rambling some thoughts off. But a lot of people that I know that either don't know about the movement, don't understand the movement, maybe they understand, they don't support it, maybe they understand but they don't know if they what to do about how they feel. All I know is that I was in that same place 2 months ago, and I'm not 100% in how I feel about a lot of things, but I do know that being part of the ports yesterday was an awesome experience. Being part of the ports over a month ago was an awesome experience. Visiting occupations during the 15-day road trip I was just on was an awesome experience. Every person I've met, every conversation I've had, every hug that I've received, every message on Twitter I've received, every viewer that actually watches my Ustreams, it all makes me realize that there are people in this world that give a shit. And that's something pretty awesome. So anyways, I'm gonna continue walking around the plaza. One thing that occurred when I first started getting involved with Occupy and started coming out here, I'm fairly new back to Oakland. I don't live in Oakland. I live here in the East Bay, but I recently moved back about a year ago. And when I lived here before, back when I was in high school, Oakland was a scary place to me, and that was a perception. That perception was because I listened to family members and friends and classmates and the media. Everybody painted a very horrible picture of Oakland. And when I moved back to Oakland, to the Bay Area, the only person that I really had to surround me with support was my best friend, and he is an Oakland resident, and so naturally spent a lot of time in Oakland. And I began to see that Oakland is a great place with great people. It has crime. Every city has crime. Some cities do a good job at hiding their crime. Some cities' crime is less violent than others. But Oakland is not a scary place. And through Occupy, I've learned even more about how awesome that Oakland can be when Oakland people come together. So as I started coming out to Ogawa Plaza and observing the Occupy GAs and their actions, and unfortunately the police involvement with Occupy, one thing that was occurring quite often was that Ogawa Plaza was continually being referred to as Oscar Grant Plaza or Oscar Grant Square or whatever. I didn't know that this plaza was actually called Frank Ogawa Plaza. My best friend that lives here in Oakland was the one that pointed out to me that it was not called Oscar Grant. And I just wanted to make a point of that because it's still referred to quite often as Oscar Grant. And so I just wanted to make that a point. So as I'm walking around here, I'm just going to get some images of what still remains now that Occupy Oakland has been evicted from here. Today, the people that were occupying the tree, unfortunately, were removed. I wasn't able to be here for that. So there are still some things here, though, some signs and whatnot. Move your money to a credit union, National Layer Guild phone number. This is basically kind of like a little vigil area. So I just wanted to get some imagery going. Wanted to come down here after seeing the movie and after reflecting on my past couple months involvement with Occupy and what this plaza has meant to Occupy Oakland. There's actually a statue over here that I'm gonna get image of. I believe it's the bust of Frank Ogawa. And again, this is kind of just for my own documentation. I know I have a couple viewers, so if you're enjoying this, it's awesome. So this here is the bust of Frank Ogawa. And that is why this is called Frank Ogawa Plaza. This plaza is dedicated to Frank Ogawa. Just to talk a little bit about him. He began his career in public service with his appointment as a member of the City Oakland Park Commission of 1961. He later served as the chair of the Parks Commission. In 66, he was appointed by Mayor Redding to the Oakland City Council and became the first Japanese American to serve the City Council in a major metropolitan city in the continental U.S. He served as a council member for 28 years. He died in 94. He served as vice mayor in the city of Oakland on several occasions and served the Bay Area Air Quality Management and the Bay Conservation and Development Commission. His personal history, just kind of briefly reading some plaques that are here. He was born in 1917 in Lodi, California. He was raised there and moved to Oakland, married Grace Catano. Their family nursery business was interrupted by the forced internment of Japanese Americans by the United States government in 1942. His daughter was born in an interment camp in Topaz, Utah and his son was born in Oakland. He was the owner and president of Frank Ogawa Nursery, a wholesale nursery business which he successfully operated for more than 40 years. Sports were an important part of his life, and he sponsored many teams throughout his life. His community service was dedicated to serving. He was instrumental in forming the Oakland Fukuoka Sister City Society and served as a member of the board of directors of Sister Cities International. He served as the president of Lake Merritt Breakfast Club and of California Association of Nurserymen. He was also an active member of Oakland Rotary, the 100 Club. He was also one of the founders of the president of the Golden Gate Optimist Club. He was a citizen of the world. He was instrumental in opening the doors of trade and commerce to Asia for the Port of Oakland. He forged a relationship between the city of Oakland and the city of Fukuoka, Japan, and was instrumental in creating the sister city relationship between those cities in 1962. He also helped establish a sister port relationship between the Port of Oakland and the Port of Yokohama. His many contributions toward furthering the relationship between U.S. and Japan were recognized by the government of Japan in 1990 when he was awarded the Order of the Sacred Treasure Golden Rays with neck ribbon. So that's a little bit about Frank Ogawa. And once again, this is Frank Ogawa Plaza. If you're just watching, I have 4 viewers. This really started out as kind of a personal little video for myself, but glad you joined me. So we're just here at Frank Ogawa Plaza, and I'm gonna start heading back to the car. How's that going, everybody?
Hi, what's up with it?
Good, how you doing? Good. When I came up to the plaza, I noticed that there was some unmarked cars over here, and I'm just curious. I'm just gonna walk. If you watch my broadcasts, you know that I love getting close to the cops for some reason. This might get me in trouble someday. I don't know. So yeah, just a little tour around Frank Ogawa Plaza. It's not really much of a huge focus point on a regular basis now these days. We still hold GAs here. We still have rallies here, and marches leave from here. But it's pretty quiet here tonight. Unfortunately, our retreat occupiers are no longer here. I have security. So maybe I didn't see police cars. I must have seen vehicles of these security men that patrol the plaza now to make sure that we don't have tents and we don't have lodging. So yeah, that's just a little bit from Frank Ogawa Plaza tonight. I just wanted to come by. I was trying to get down here this afternoon, when the confrontation was occurring with the tree sitters. I didn't get here in time. I actually didn't make it here because I had some other appointments and went to see the movie, so hi. So therefore I decided to come down after, and there's not much going on, which I wasn't coming down here for that purpose, but was basically coming down here just as a reflection of the past couple months, and it's kind of a nice night for a little walk, even though I don't really need to walk too much after yesterday. Calculating the distance of walking to the port twice yesterday, ended up being about 8 miles or so. That's probably including all the walking around at the port, but the 2 round trip marches the march down, the walk back, and then going back down in the evening and back to the car after. That added up to about 7.25 miles, I think. So add all the walking around while at the port, and that's pretty much about 8 miles. So all that in one day over 20 hours really exhausted me a bit. I had gone home and I had hoped to get enough sleep and wake up and go back out at 3 a.m. But unfortunately I wasn't able to wake up. I slept straight through the alarm and woke up around probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. Instantly grabbed my phone to find out what was going on, and had heard that the morning shift had already been shut down. So I went back to sleep. So that completes my little stream. The two of you that are still watching, thank you for jumping on. There was something that was said earlier on Twitter that I made a response to, and that was basically I was streaming from inside the theater. There were some speakers that were speaking before the beginning of the movie, and I was streaming from like the back where I was sitting, and a comment had went out that I only had one viewer because Spencer was there with his Ustream pack right up in the front with a nice clear, nice beautiful view. And you know, I'm just going to speak on this briefly and not too in depth, because the last thing I want to do is be called a hater or be misunderstood in my thoughts. But I'm not in competition with anybody. Spencer does a great job. Spencer actually was a bit of inspiration for me to get more involved in the video side of documenting these events that are happening. I'm a photographer by heart. You know, I love capturing images. I love capturing moments. And a lot of times it's for me. You know, there's a lot of things that we observe in our day. And to me, a lot of it's very important. What we see today can shape what we do tomorrow. And down the road, our memories fade and we forget details. And to me, details are very important. And I want to be able to remember the events and the images that I'm surrounded with every day when I'm at an age that I can't remember. And that's what I started doing with Occupy when I started coming out. I was photographing. And over time, you know, I started having complications with my equipment and not being able to get things uploaded or saved, or a number of things that, you know, over time I just had a bunch of pictures on memory cards and my computer wasn't acting right and I wasn't able to do much with them. So it became pretty frustrating. Then I found one of Spencer's feeds one night when I was too tired to be out any longer. I went home one particular evening and found his stream, and I was drawn to the idea of capturing on video because you can capture so much more. You can capture sound, you can capture movement, and you know, photography is great. That's my first passion. But in situations that we see through Occupy movement, sometimes photography doesn't tell exactly what's going on. And so I was drawn to the video side of it, and mostly because of Spencer's feeds. And, you know, I applaud him. He's done a great job at bringing people the images of what's going on out here. And, you know, I started doing video like like video clips and stuff and trying to get them up to YouTube, and again, having equipment complications with that. And so I found out how to use Ustream and realized that I didn't have to upload anything. Like, it's saved automatically, and I can later go back and download these clips and save them to a hard copy. And so it made things a lot easier to just pull my camera out and Ustream. And whether people are watching or not, I don't care. I mean, if you are watching, that's awesome. That's great. I'm glad that you found my stream. I'm glad that you're interested enough to stick on and listen to my ramble, listen to my thoughts. But I'm not doing it for that. It's not a popularity contest. I'm not trying to win viewers. I'm not trying to steal Spencer's viewers or Punk Boy's or anybody's. Everybody is doing what they want to do to document this. Everybody's doing what they feel they need to do or feel they want to do. And I'm not here to try to steal anybody's light. I think he does a great job, but it disappoints me more than anything to see a community of people that are supposed to be so strongly knit together start putting people in that type of situation, you know, to say I only have one viewer because Spencer's there. Well, great. I know Spencer's there. I said hi to Spencer. I acknowledged that he was there. I applauded him for being there. I don't really see the point in pointing out that he's the reason I have one viewer. I mean, the one viewer is great. If I had no viewers, great. And this is just a rant, and if you're listening, I'm sorry, but it's just, we need to get past that. We need to realize that everybody has two eyes, and we all see things differently through our eyes. Yesterday at the ports, I seen Spencer, I seen Punk Boy, I seen Magic Mint. I was with Bobster Rob most of the day. I've seen several people streaming. I saw people streaming that I don't even know who they are. I've never talked to them on Twitter. I've never seen their feeds. Everybody is documenting what is going on around them. Everybody has a point of view. Everybody has a different perspective. And one thing I've encouraged everybody that watches my feed, don't stick to one stream. You know, I can tell you that yesterday I saw Spencer twice. So whatever he was streaming was different than what I was streaming. It was at a different point of view. A couple times that I crossed paths with Punk Boy, he came from an opposite direction from where I was standing. So this proves again, 2 points of view. We might have been broadcasting from the same event, but we were in different locations almost the entire time. So that is giving people multiple options of perspective. And so I encourage people to watch more than one. I know that when I'm unable to attend any actions or events, I tune into multiple broadcasts at a time. I channel surf, you know, just like you would at home on your TV. I channel surf. You know, I watch one broadcast till it goes off air, or I watch a broadcast until I'm curious about what another broadcast has. I encourage people to do that. You know, if you don't want to do that because you like a particular broadcaster, you like what they say, you like how they get you the story, then that's great too. You know, everybody has their own choice in how they want to take all of this in. And I'm just here documenting what I see, the way I see it. If people choose to view it, then they're choosing to have another perspective. And I applaud that because that's what everybody needs to do. I might surprise you all one day and you might tune in and I might be on the other side of the fence of what you believe. And you may never tune in again. You know, it happens, and I'm not afraid of that. But I just wanted to talk on that for a minute because I really don't care how many viewers I have. It's awesome. I love looking and seeing that I have a viewer. It just means that somebody's interested in what I've got to say, and to be honest, that's awesome. But again, I'm not in competition with nobody. I'm not trying to steal. I'm not jealous. I applaud each and everybody that broadcasts for doing for doing it, you know, for being out there for the sake of getting it filmed, getting it photographed, and getting it to people. So that's truly the end of this. I'm done. It's cold. I need to get on with my evening. So those of you that are watching, feel free to message me on Twitter, say hello. Again, this whole stream was just basically me reflecting on the paths that I've crossed, the events that I've seen through the Occupy movement, and how awesome it's been, basically. So reach out, say hello, let me know you were watching, because that's pretty awesome. And until next stream that I have, take care.